Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, good morning to you all and happy Wednesday, happy hump day. So I'm coming to you today with a couple of articles that I want to read to you guys. Well, not read the full articles, but give you the meat of the article because I think these are very important. And the first one I want to start off with here is U.S. imports corn from Brazil. And after I read this, or I read the blunt of this to you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you why it is that this worries me, all right? And why it is that it's so important that everyone is prepping right now. And I really mean that. So let's carry on here. U.S. imports corn from Brazil. Brazil exported 60 tons of corn to the United States, according to Refinitiv data. The shipment is rare since in the United States is the world's largest corn producer and currently exports between 10% and 20% of its annual production, according to a U.S. Department of Agriculture Economic Research Service report. The sources said U.S. demand for Brazil's corn has been driven by fears of crop failure in North America, as U.S. farmers dealt with, and I would say still deal with, climate issues in the beginning of the planting season, Reuters said. Corn previously was shipped from Brazil to the United States via that place to Smithfield Foods on September 3rd, totaling 60 tons, Reuters noted. So it looks to me like Smithfield Foods is trying to stock up their bins so that they can continue to feed their pigs, because I do believe that Smithfield Foods is one of the biggest pig processors here in the United States. The USDA noted a trend of Brazil emerging as the largest U.S. competitor in the global corn market. A change in export seasonality could alter the seasonality of corn prices, further weakening corn prices at harvest, eroding U.S. market share, the USDA said. Another shipment transporting 52 tons of corn is expected to arrive in the United States on October 17, Reuters said. So far, it looks like we're going to be importing a total of just a little over 112 tons of corn from Brazil. And what worries me most is this statement right here. U.S. demand for Brazil's corn has been driven by fears of crop failure in North America as U.S. farmers dealt with climate issues in the beginning of the planting season, Reuters said. Now, there's a channel that someone alerted me to, and I've actually been subscribed to this channel for a while. So if you guys want to get a lot of really good information on what's going on with crops and harvest and all these kinds of things, go to Yanasa Ama Ranch. And I'll go ahead and leave a card up on the right hand corner of the video, somewhere around here where I'm pointing. You'll see a little card flip out around now, and you guys will be able to go check that channel out. Very informative channel, and it looks like its host is a very good person. So let's go to the next one, and this is just a quick article that says wet weather and wallets. USDA predicts lower crop yield. Farmers plan for a late harvest. And as you all know, or in case some of you don't know, there's supposed to be a pretty nasty cold front continuing to push through the Northwest and the Midwest. All right, so in case a lot of you don't know, there was a whole bunch of snow that fell between the Northwest and the Midwest, like Montana, that area around there, that fell over the weekend. And I believe the most that I heard of was like 40 inches of snow that fell somewhere. So not only are we dealing with lower temperatures or the risk of frost overs that will end up damaging the crops and the yields, but these guys are also dealing with snow as well. This is what I would say somewhat worries me as I look out towards the future. Right? So this says IGC revises global grain output lower. Pretty much this article is discussing all of the total grain outputs, mainly for like the EU, but there is a section here where they discuss the global output. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the main point that I want to make in this video here, and this is why we need to start prepping. Before I come back to this, I want to show you this, because this has happened in the past and it can happen again. 200 years ago, we endured a year without a summer. Now why? Why did that happen, that we endured a year without a summer 200 years ago? Because there was a huge volcano. All right, what's the name of this volcano? Tambora or something like that? Mount Tambora in Indonesia. It erupted for like 2 weeks straight back in 1815. And the ash was thrown into the atmosphere far enough into the atmosphere where it did a good job blocking out the energy of the sun, which ended up giving us a year without a summer back in 1816. So let me go ahead and read you a little bit of this. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but it can happen. It's happened before. Why wouldn't it happen again? It may not happen in our lifetimes, but how do we know that? And if something like this did happen today, it would be a lot more catastrophic than it was back in 1816 as far as the toll on human life. I always say that I think that 1 year food preparation, 1 year food preps is what I like to have, at least 1 year of preps to feed you and your family. And I also like to prep for neighbors and for charity, right? But that's me personally, not saying that you have to. But I've always said that 1 year is what I think is the best amount of time to prep for, personally. Okay, it may be different for you all. But look at this. This lasted a year back in 1816. It lasted 1 year where they did not have a summer. Let me go ahead and read a little bit of this to you in case some of you are not familiar about this. 2 centuries ago, 1816 became the year without a summer for millions of people in parts of North America and Europe, leading to failed crops and near famine conditions. While they did not know the chill's cause at the time, scientists and historians now know that the biggest volcanic eruption in human history on the other side of the world, Mount Tambora in Indonesia in April 1815, spewed millions of tons of dust ash and sulfur dioxide. Now, sulfur dioxide is really the culprit. Sulfur dioxide does a very good job at diverting the sun's energy back out into space. All right, and sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere, temporarily changing the world's climate and dropping global temperatures by as much as 3 degrees. I'm assuming that that's Fahrenheit, but I'm not sure, but it just says 3 degrees. In addition to food shortages, the natural climate change caused disease outbreaks, widespread migration of people looking for a better home, and religious revivals as people tried to make sense of it all. We cannot reliably predict exactly when a volcano will erupt or how powerful it would be until the eruption is nearly upon us, said Nicholas P. Kilgerman, co-author of the book, The Year Without a Summer. And what I'm getting at here is that this can happen again. And for anyone that knows about the grand solar minimum, I actually went over this on my other channel, Alaska Prepper News. If you guys want to go over there and check out that video that I put up about the grand solar minimum. When the sun becomes less active, it allows more cosmic rays from space to enter the Earth's atmosphere. Those cosmic rays have a few effects on Earth. One of the effects is cloud nucleation, which means the creation of more clouds. And whereas there's more cloud cover, there's less energy of the sun entering the Earth. But what it does in reference to volcanoes and to earthquakes is cosmic rays influence volcanoes to erupt more often and influence the earthquakes to happen more frequently as well. So we are going into a solar minimum and more likely a grand solar minimum, and it is very good chance that we will have some major volcanic eruptions. So we can never say that this will never happen again or that it won't happen in our lifetimes. The best thing we can do is to prepare the best that we can prepare. All right, so let me show you what it is that concerns me here about the global grain output. So this here, I believe I went over the title. It's the IGC revises global grain output lower. And I'm going to leave these articles so that you guys can take a look at them. But I'm only going to read one one thing here, okay? I'm not nitpicking here, all right, because this is not really nitpicking. This is just information. All of this here you see as information, right? It's not anything that's better, one thing better than the other. But this is the part right here. Overall global grain consumption is forecast to increase year over year, or year on year, from 2.165 billion tons to 2.184 billion, while carryover stocks are projected to decline from 621 million tons to 585 million tons. So yes, it's a good thing that we're producing a little bit more as far as the world is concerned. All of the world grain production this year produced a little bit more than what it did last year. However, our carryover stock, so if you can see the world as prepping and having something set aside, that would be our carryover stock. So once we've consumed everything that we're going to consume for the year, what's left over is the carryover stock. All right. Now our carryover stock from 2018 to 2019 is going to end up being 585 million tons. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if we are consuming 2.1 billion tons a year and we only have a carryover of 585 million tons, what would happen if we had a year without a summer? Because if that did happen, this math is not good math. Because if we simplify this and say that 5 goes into 20 4 times, this right here, 585 million tons, is about a little more than a quarter of what the world needs for the whole year. So we would be almost 3/4 shy of the amount of grain that we needed for the whole year to feed the world. All right, because grain is pretty much everything, ladies and gentlemen. Without grain, we don't have animal feed. Without grain, we don't have cereals. We don't have food. Forget about making ethanol and making fuel with corn and stuff like that. All right, that would be stopped immediately if we had a year without a summer. But what's going to happen if we do have a year without a summer and we only have roughly 1/4 of the grain that we need to feed the world? And what I think would happen is that a lot of wars would break out, a lot of refugees, a lot of people leaving their homes to try to go to somewhere that has food, and people will become very violent, and governments will become very violent as well. So this is what I wanted to point out. I think this is important to take a look at, not only as far as our country importing corn, probably for the first time that I've ever known that they've imported corn, but they're importing corn now from Brazil, and being that we have a carryover of grains for the world that is less than what it was last year, and that is, as far as I'm concerned, pretty darn low compared to what it is that we need for a year's worth of grain usage, throughout the world. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, that was it. That's what I wanted to put out and go over with you guys. I hope you guys got something out of this, and I hope more so that you all go to these articles, read them over, do your own research, and decide whether it's important enough that you start prepping. If you're not prepping, ladies and gentlemen, you are brought to this channel for a reason, because I think that everyone needs to start prepping. So if you're not prepping, start prepping. If you're new to this platform, thank you for stopping by. Go ahead and subscribe and see what our community has to offer. I can tell you that our community is awesome, and the value of the community here in the Alaska Prepper channel is much more greater than the value of the content. I put these videos out and I put this content out so that you all can help each other and help me figure out what's the best thing to do. All right, because everyone's different and everyone has a different opinion, and most comments are different. So you can learn from the comments, and you can ask questions in the comments, and there's always somebody who jumps in there to help out. So if you're new, welcome. To all of the new subscribers that have subscribed within the last few days, Thank you very much for subscribing and for joining our community. And I hope that you do find value in the content and the community as a whole. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. So remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place. And you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to support the channel, just take a look at the links below. I truly do appreciate your support. Almost all of those links don't require you to spend any money that you weren't going to spend anyway. For example, if you want to do some Amazon shopping, using my link will enable the corporations to have to send me back 1 or 2 percentage points of what you purchase, costing you nothing more.
Tell me.
Oh, Victor, what?
Is this what you do in your spare time? You beg the people
I'm not
on the internet for money.
I'm not begging for money. I'm asking people to use my links because...
Do you know, everyone on YouTube, do you know what he does at his regular job? His regular normal day job.
Victor, stop it.
He looks on YouTube. He says he does nothing all day. Just goes on YouTube, watches videos, probably writes out scripts for his new videos.
Ladies and gentlemen, Victor's trying to say that all I do at work is watch YouTube videos. That's not true. I do a lot of work.
This is what he tells me.
He's lying, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Victor, let me finish.
This is why I steal food from his pantry. He obviously does not make the money.
Victor, let me finish telling the community members how they can support the channel, okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, it doesn't cost you any more to use my Amazon links. And if you are looking to buy Oxen Farms or Emergency Essentials, Valley Farms, food storage, use one of my links. Same thing. It doesn't cost you any more money.
Go to store and buy it yourself.
No, they don't sell a lot of these things in the store. Now, if you can find it at the store for less expensive than what the site sells it for, then absolutely, I want you to do that. I don't want you to lose money. But what I'm saying is that it doesn't cost you anything else.
In this case, is keep separate link for Amazon.
Yes.
But not attached to yours.
No, yes.
Just to their own account.
No, and easy.
Not to yours. They can buy anything they want.
No.
They no longer have to go to your own video.
No.
They don't have to do
An
this.
easy thing to do is just to bookmark my Amazon link, and that really does help. Because
Amazon.
Have you ever heard the term that many hands create little work? Same thing. All of those pennies add up.
There is still same amount of work, just more people.
All right, Victor, that's enough.
It is same work, just split amongst difference.
Okay, that's enough, Victor. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to support...
There is no less work.
If you would like to support charity, I do have a link. It's called Buy Me a Coffee. And if you go on that link, anything that you contribute to that account goes to charity. All right, so that is the only thing that I have on there that actually costs you money out of your pocket is if you want to give to charity.
It is strange saying. Many hands make little work.
Yes, many hands make little work.
Do you believe that Alexander the Great said this?
I don't know what you're talking.
Julius
Victor,
Caesar?
That's enough. I have only a minute. I think this is like 20 minutes long already. You're making this.
The British Empire. How about this? Many hands, no
Let
pay.
me see. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's all I have to do. You get the gist of this. If you want to support the channel, take a look at the links below. I truly do appreciate all of your guys' support. And we will talk to you later on. Many blessings to all of you and your families. And I am out.
Goodbye.